Covenant Animal Clinic, Liberty Village, Midstate Eye, Nan Krang with Remax Choice, your 217 home team, Warner Hospital and Health Services, and ServPro of Piatt DeWitt counties.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest in studio today is president of the Miller Media Group and WHOW radio stations, Randal J. Miller. Hey, Randy, how are you this morning?
Doing well. It's not very often.
Check your mic, see if it's on there if you would.
Somebody turned it off.
There you go. Turn it back on. There we go. Very, very well.
You know, I keep saying that one of these days we got to replace the microphones that have switches on them because they drive me nuts, personally.
Me too. And I can't just like reach around anymore and grab those.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true. Well, it's an honor to be here, and it's a rarity for me to ever be on this side of the microphone, but I'm looking forward to what we're going to talk about today.
Which is
the WHOW 75th Anniversary Banquet, which is going to take place on Saturday night, the 12th of November at the Clinton Country Club. And here is the why we're doing this. WHOW, the first Saturday of August of this year, celebrated 75 years on the air. Went on the air in August of 1947. And the old gal has seen the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Quite literally the ugly.
Literally the ugly in 75 years. But our company, Miller Media Group, wants to celebrate the 75 years of service and legacy and connection to our listeners throughout Central Illinois on that night. And the culmination of that night will be the showing, the debut, the premiere, whatever you want to call it, of the WHOW 75th anniversary video. And the reason we're doing all this is because I also own a group of stations in Taylorville. WTIM in Taylorville celebrated its 70th anniversary this year as well. So we hitched our wagon to the Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce annual banquet, and we paid for everything. The food, the venue, the entertainment, the PA, everything. And we turned it into a night where we raised money. The sale of tickets, all of the proceeds half of it went to the chamber, 50%, which was about a little over $3,000 of the $6,000 that we raised. About $1,600 went to our food pantry, and $1,600 went to our public schools foundation. Well, it was so successful. We sold 140 some tickets and had a wonderful night. We had a ball.
Quite literally a ball.
Literally a ball. Yeah. I decided, you know what? We're going to do what I'm calling Anniversary 2.0 for our company, and doing the same thing here. Now, granted, we're not hitching our wagon to any other organization's event. We're creating our own, but I'm hoping that because of the ties to the community that Clinton has, and there's going to be a lot of history that's going to be shown in that video, and the fact that we're doing the same thing. We're paying for everything: the food, the venue, the entertainment, the PA, putting together the video that's going to be shown that night, and then we're going to turn it into a fundraiser. So all the ticket sales are going to be split between the Clinton Neighborhood Care Center no-fee grocery and the Clinton High School Student Activity Fund. Jerry Wayne and I have worked together over the last several months to make this happen, as well as Cody Monkman at the Neighborhood Care Center. So we're doing this as a fundraiser for them to celebrate WHOW's 75th anniversary.
Very good. So look forward to it. Where do folks go to buy tickets, Randy?
Clinton High School office.
All right.
Missy Copel is taking care of the ticket sales there. And there'll be a social hour at 5:30. Dinner's going to be at 6:30. The program's at 7:30. We have a young lady who is a Taylorville native. She's now in Nashville. She's one of the rising stars in Nashville. Her name is Gracia Harrison. She performed for us at our WTIM 70th anniversary and just knocked it out of the park. It's just her and an acoustic guitar. She plays acoustic guitar, and it's mainly country songs, but she's knocked it out of the park. And she played during our social hour and also during dinner. And it just made it for a really, really fun night. We have 150 seats that we can fill at the Clinton Country Club. That's pretty much max that we can sell. And if we sell all of those, I shouldn't say if, when we sell all of those, again, half the proceeds of that night, half of all of the ticket sales will go to the Clinton High School Student Activity Fund. The other half will go to the Clinton Neighborhood Care Center no-fee grocery.
Well, normally I would I wouldn't ask this right away, but since I'm hungry, I'm going to ask it. What's for dinner that night?
Let's see. It'll be a plated meal. Angelo's Catering from Taterville's catering it because, again, they did such a great job for us there. It'll be boneless pork chop, mashed potatoes, green beans. I think there's one other thing, and tea or water. And I've also ordered through Kirby Foods here in Clinton a huge sheet cake that will have the WHOW 75th anniversary logo on it. And the Angelo's crew, once everyone's done eating, will be serving some anniversary cake to everybody. And not everybody likes cake, so we're also going to have cupcakes available. I think the first 100 or so will get a piece of the sheet cake, and then everybody else gets cupcakes.
All right.
So yeah, it's going to be a full meal deal.
Perfect.
Plated, and it'll be a fun night.
All right. Again, our guest in studio today is Mr. Randal J. Miller. He is the president of WHOW and the Miller Media Group radio stations. Well, Randy, talk a little bit about just how it came to be that we are going to support the Clinton High School. Is it the activity fund?
Student activity fund.
Student activity fund. And
your sheet's right in front of you.
Oh, hey,
there.
thank you. I
There
should
we
pull
go.
this out. There you go. And the Neighborhood Care Center. How did it come to be that we got connected with these groups?
Well, it's basically the same thing we did at Taterville. I wanted to find a couple of local nonprofit organizations that an event like this could benefit. And that's why we worked it out with Mr. Wayne at the high school and with Cody at the Neighborhood Care Center, because all of these funds will go right back into helping these nonprofits in Clinton. And let's talk about this legacy for just a moment. I've only been owner of WHOW 15 years, but we did a 60th anniversary. We did a 70th anniversary program on the air. And as a result of that, the stories that came out of the community for people that were on the air in these 60, 70 years that people in the Clinton community and Central Illinois community are related to is just phenomenal. From Bill Ward, who was here 50 years and did sign on WHOW, also did some sales. Ozzie Pearl, who had a square dance show on Saturday mornings. We have those stories. We have audio from those guys. We have some audio from the Sangamon Valley Boys, because WHOW was one of the leading country and Western radio stations for decades. And this station didn't play a record until 1961.
Oh, wow.
Everything they did was live. And initially, the studios were above the former Cannonball's department store on the south side of the square. So all of these bands were scheduled by the radio station in 15 and 30-minute increments. They'd have to haul all their instruments up the stairs because the studios were on the second floor. And play for their 15 or 30 minutes. They would all huddle around a microphone in the middle of the room. There was a piano in the studio still, so they could play the piano. They'd play for 15 to 30 minutes, and then they haul all their stuff back down. Most of these people had full-time jobs in the community, but they had these bands that performed on the weekends at taverns and VFWs and this sort of thing. That's how they got their gigs, was by playing on WHOW. And many of these folks went on and had country music careers in Nashville. They would go to Nashville, and when they said that they were on WHOW, the artists, the record companies in Nashville, they knew what WHOW was because of the reputation that it had as a leading country and Western music radio station.
Well, I knew that the WHW had a rich history of just recognition, in the music world. So how will you display some of these things? You mentioned there's audio, there's probably artifacts, there's all sorts of things. What do you have?
Yeah. We have they actually published a book when WHOW went on the air. I got a copy of that book. I think Bill Ward gave it to me. So I've got that book, and we're gonna get pictures out of that book, which will be a part of the video. And what else do we have? Some people in the community, and I don't remember names because the file's not in front of me, but many people have provided me pictures of their relatives that used to sing on WHOW. So those pictures will be a part of what we show. And then I was able to find on the internet a couple of CDs from the Sangamon Valley Boys. They were, I guess, the most prominent group that was on WHOW in the maybe 50s, but I know in the 60s and into the early 70s. And somebody took their tapes from on the air and dubbed them to CD and sells those CDs online. I was able to find them.
No kidding.
So we're going to play a lot of that audio. And we also have audio from one of the most famous disc jockeys that was ever on WHOW, Uncle Johnny Barton. We have
Everybody knows Uncle Johnny.
Everybody knows Uncle Johnny. We have audio from him. We have some pictures of him and his family. We have a picture of him when they broadcast live from the Illinois State Fair. They used to do a show, as in Pickin' and Grinnin', from the Lincoln stage. They would feed it back to the radio station via phone line and put it on the air. And supposedly Sunbeam Bread back in the day used to sponsor it because there was a Sunbeam sign right next to it. All of that is going to be part of the history and the legacy that we're going to be presenting that night.
Amazing stuff. So look forward to it again, Randy, as we come up on a break this morning. Again, the highlight, the when, the where, how folks get tickets.
It's the WHOW 75th Anniversary Banquet. All the proceeds are going to benefit the Clinton Neighborhood Care Center No Fee Grocery and the Clinton High School Student Activity Fund. Takes place Saturday, November 12th at the Clinton Country Club. Social hours at 5:30, dinner 6:30, program 7:30. We will premiere the WHOW 75th Anniversary video. Tickets are $50 a piece or a table of 8 for $360. You can buy the tickets at the Clinton High School office. Gracia Harrison will be our entertainment that night. It's going to be a fun night.
Let's take a break, Randy, and come back with some more. Randy Miller, owner of the Miller Media Group and the WHOW radio stations, our guest in studio. More to come on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
For Illinois agriculture.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn slightly lower, beans slightly higher, wheat trading lower. December corn 676 1/4, down half a penny. March corn down 1 1/4, 680 1/2. May corn 680 1/2, down 1 3/4. November beans 1428 1/4, up 2 1/2. January beans up a penny, 1432 3/4. March beans 1435 1/2. Up a penny. December wheat down 2 3/4, 877 3/4. March wheat 891 1/4, down 2 1/2. October bean meal 438.20, down 170. October bean oil 66.87, down 13 cents. In the livestock market, September feeders 178.17, up a nickel. October live cattle 145.25, up $1. October lean hogs 92.37, down 1/4. In the energy market, November crude oil 80.20, up $1.46. Jim Taylor, the RFD Radio Network.
Your own home without the maintenance. If you're 55 or better, a beautiful Liberty Village villa could be yours. This is Erin, and I invite you to come take a tour of our move-in ready villa. Click the Liberty Village icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Life is uncertain. Stop in and see me, State Farm Agent Jason France, on the west side of the Clinton Square, or click our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and see how our full lineup of State Farm insurance and financial services can help protect your family.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Hear his reports by downloading the free WHOW mobile app.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest again in studio today, Mr. Randal J. Miller, is the station owner and president of the Miller Media Group. And Randy, let's talk history of WHW, because I know this is just right up your alley. You love the history of this place. Tell us about it.
I love history. First of all, I love history in general, but the history of WHOW, it's just absolutely fascinating. There have only been 4 owners of WHOW in the 75 years it's been on the air, and that's very uncommon, very uncommon. A group of local people decided that Clinton, Illinois needed its own radio station, and so they pulled their resources, filed in 1946 to put WHOW on the air. They got the FCC approval. They put it on the air first Saturday of August of 1947. They ran it until 1950. Studios, again, were downtown, second floor of the former Cannonball's department store. Transmitter site was 4 miles south of Clinton, where you and I are sitting, because the room directly, no, scratch that. The room where the transmitters are at here at the Big Red Barn, and this room, this was the cement block building that they had put up to house just the transmitter. And back in that day, the engineer had to be in this building to keep it on the air.
Oh, no kidding.
There was somebody at the transmitter site, I think, all the time, or darn close to all the time. We found an area where there used to be a bathroom in that room, the transmitter room next to where you and I are sitting.
Is that what that hole is in the floor back there?
No, that's for the that's a cable tray where they built it into the floor to run all of the electric and the cables for the transmitter and all that sort of thing, audio and all the rest. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, we sealed up where the restroom used to be. It's in the south. What is it? No, that's northeast corner of the room next to where we're sitting. So anyway, Ray Livesey, who owned WLBH in Mattoon, he put it on in 46. He buys WHOW in 1950, and he really made the station flourish as a country and western radio station. Studios, again, were downtown. Transmitter site was here. And they didn't play a record until 61. And then even then, in the 60s and 70s, they mixed playing records and having live bands. Ray built the Big Red Barn here in 1975. So this room, they basically added on to this room. So all the rest of what we see here at the Big Red Barn was added on in 75, and we're in the original transmitter building. And the next room next door, which is now WEZC's studio, main studio, is the studio where the bands played, because when I got here in 07, there was still a piano in that studio.
Was there really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I tried selling the piano as a vintage, souvenir. It's, I think it was a player piano, as I remember, but I don't know. In any event, I tried selling it. Nobody wanted it. I had to give it away just to get rid of it. Somebody came with a flatbed trailer and hauled it away. But there was still a piano in that room when I got here in 2007.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Livesey owned it. He died in 1995, and his son Jim and family then inherited WHOW, and by then it was WHOW 1520 and WHOW FM, our sister station 95.9, which is now WEZC. Those two stations were here, and then he had an AM/FM in Mattoon. But the family really did not care or take care of the building, the station, that sort of thing. And long story short, it went off the air in 02, fall of 02. Station went off, both stations went off the air, 95.9 and 1520. Senator Bill Brady and his family literally resurrected these two stations in the fall of 03. It was 3 days shy of the licenses being canceled by the FCC. You cannot leave stations off the air longer than a year. So I give Senator Brady a huge amount of credit for resurrecting these things. And he owned them from 03 until 07. And then we did a lease purchase deal where we leased the stations as of October 1607, and then we closed on the purchase after FCC approval on January 108, and the rest has been history. And Clinton has been so good to me.
Sure.
So good to me.
And giving back in that way with this event.
This is one of the many ways. And of course, giving back is having interviews every day on WHOW from local folks, just like the gal from the last interview from CASA, and of course having the the police chief here and many other local civic organizations, not just from Clinton, but from all of the little communities that we serve, because we are their voice. That's the way I felt about any of my radio stations in the going on 50 years that I've been in the business, and 40 in ownership, and 15 here.
Sure. So, Randy, just in terms, I've got about 2 minutes with you. Anything I haven't mentioned this morning you want to make sure we know about?
No, I think we've covered it pretty well. I hope the community will help us celebrate WHOW's anniversary, and at the same time help raise funds for these two very, very worthwhile organizations. I know we have Mr. Wayne from the high school on a regular basis here to talk about all that's going on at Clinton High School. And this Student Activity Fund, this benefits kids that can't afford things like backpacks and other school-related items. And, of course, the Neighborhood Care Center that Cody Monkman runs, the no-fee grocery area, that speaks for itself to provide groceries and needed items for those in the Clinton community that are in need.
Cody's on tomorrow, so look forward to that.
Go.
Yep, absolutely. Randy, again, just highlight the when, the where, and what this event is going to be all about.
WHOW celebrating its 75th anniversary by having a banquet, and we will premiere the showing of the WHOW 75th anniversary video Saturday, November 12th. At the Clinton Country Club. Social hour 5:30, dinner 6:30, program 7:30, entertainment from Gracia Harrison. You're going to enjoy her a bunch. Tickets are $50, plated meal with all the trimmings. Table of eight's $360, and you can buy tickets by seeing Missy at the Clinton High School office.
Randy, thanks for doing this with us. Good to have you in studio. Randal J. Miller is the president of the Miller Media Group, owner of the WHOW radio stations here at the Big Red Barn in Clinton. With that, coming up on Network News at the top of the hour, the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton.